Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan with the Laundromat Resource Podcast. This is show 107, and I am pumped that you're here today. Not only because I'm always pumped that you're here today, but also because this episode kicks off 2023, and I'm super pumped about that. And I know that actually, if you've been following along, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus over here for a little while, and I've gotten a lot of messages about that. When are you coming back? When are you coming back? Well, guess what? We're back, and we're coming back strong. So acknowledge that hiatus. But man, one of the beauties of the laundromat industry, and I guess kind of this too, is I want it to be something that helps us achieve what we want out of life, right? The freedom of these businesses is something that is a huge draw for most of us, right? And so, over the holidays and all that time where we were traveling and doing stuff with the family, I was just kind of enjoying life and trying to practice what I preach over here in terms of, embracing that freedom that it can give us. But I'm back and I'm ready to go. We've got an awesome lineup already this year. Already done some of the interviews. I've got a bunch more lined up. I'm really excited to talk to some more owners and industry professionals. So get excited about it. Buckle in because we're going to hit 2023 hard. All right. So super excited about that. And man, we're coming off of an unprecedented year in 2022. And if you remember way back in the beginning, I had a podcast interview with Mark Stern from Eastern Funding. We just talked about what's 2022 going to hold? What's it going to be like? What are some of the struggles that we saw in 2021 and what are coming ahead before or later in the year and looking forward? And so now we can look back on that and see how right Mark was in a lot of these things and how so many things happened that we couldn't have predicted, including inflation. We expected inflation to go up, but it went up a lot. We did have some, manufacturing delays. We did have, interest rates rose. We had some obstacles, but I think the level and the degree of some of these obstacles, we didn't really anticipate. So it was just a very interesting year, a very dynamic year, and tough to navigate for a lot of business owners, not just in our industry, but all over the place, right? Rising utility costs, rising interest rates, rising inflation. It's affecting everybody. And so, now in 2023, we got to figure out how to navigate all this, let alone try to figure out what's going to happen this year, right? So I just wanted to start off by kind of acknowledging all of that and re-emphasizing something that I say on here all the time, and I say it because I believe it, and it's that as we try to figure out how to navigate this stuff, we can try to figure out how to navigate it on our own. That's kind of the laundromat owner way, old school way of thinking. But Laundromat Resource, we're really trying to push our industry forward. We're trying to move us in a better direction. And I really, really think the mindset of we are all better when we work together is the way forward. It can shortcut our learning curves. It can help us hear about what's working. It's the whole premise behind this podcast and why I interview laundromat owners so that we can share what's working, what's not working, what have we learned, what lessons have we learned. And now we have this big library of knowledge that can help us better our businesses or get into the industry in a better way or, wherever you're at on that journey. So that is something that I've said many, many times. We're all better together. And in 2023, I've been thinking about this for a little while. How do we all navigate? How can I help us all navigate 2023 better? And so one of the ways that I am doing that is through actually the pro community that we have at Laundromat Resource. And I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch at all. It's not a sales pitch at all because all the information you need and all the interaction that you want can be had for free on the podcast, on the YouTube channel, on the blog, on the forums, laundromatresource.com/forums, all free, all for you. You can have all that stuff. However, if you are looking for a quicker path, if you are looking for a tighter knit community, if you are looking for just more targeted information, network, all that stuff. The pro community is the way to go, in my opinion, and it's already a pretty robust community. However, taking it up not just a notch, but a few notches in 2023. So real quick, I just want to give you highlights of some of the things we're implementing in 2023 in the pro community. So number one is one of the things that so I do a survey with every pro member who joins and says, hey, how's your experience so far? What can you, what feedback can you give us to help us make it better? And one of the pieces of feedback that we get all the time is that people are looking for more direct access to me, to other industry professionals. And so in order to kind of help that, because I think that's great, in order to kind of help that, we're going to implement a once a week call for the pro community. We're going to do Q&As. We're going to do live deal analyses. We're going to analyze deals live together online. We're going to be, talking with real laundromat owners who are trying to diagnose a problem or take their business to the next level. And we're going to do that live together. So we're going to be doing all that stuff, not just with me, but also with my friends in the community, other industry professionals, other of our consultants, like Andrew Cunningham, Lauren Perkowski, and other industry professionals who just have a deep knowledge in this business. So we're going to be doing more of that, weekly pro member calls. Super excited about that. That's one thing that we're adding. Another thing is we're adding 3 tiers of community. So the pro community is great. It's got a lot of great tools, got a lot of great resources, but I think the community aspect of the pro community has been lacking, and we've gotten that feedback, and we've heard that feedback. And so we're implementing a 3-tiered kind of community, and I'm actually very excited about that. And if you want to see a sneak peek of kind of peek behind the curtain, there'll be a link if you're on YouTube down below. If you are listening to the podcast, it'll be on the show notes, which is at laundromatresource.com/107. You can get I'll do a quick little screen capture tour of the behind the scenes community so that you can see it, and go check that out if you're interested. But the 3-tier community is pretty awesome. So tier number 1 is the big tier. That's everybody in the pro community will have a space and an opportunity to be interacting with everybody all together, asking questions, answering questions, encouraging each other. I'm really excited. We're going to implement some polls so that we can get hard data and turn that into useful information for the entire community. So I'm excited about that. So that's tier 1, is the whole community. Tier 2 is we're going to have spaces for subtopic communities. So if you want to have a conversation about wash, dry, fold, if you want to have a conversation about pickup and delivery, if you're brand new trying to buy your first laundromat, if your goal is to scale and build a laundromat empire, if you are a woman business owner and you want to talk with other women business owners, that's one thing that we're implementing. Lauren Perkowski is on board to help with that. So I'm super excited about that. So women, get excited. You're about to get represented hard in this industry. I'm excited about that. But those subtopic communities are a little more niche and they're a little more smaller. You can join any of them you want to. You can not join any of them you don't want to. And so super excited about that. And then the third tier of the community, which I'm very, very excited about if you guys take advantage of it, because I think that this could be worth its weight in gold and super, super powerful to help you get into the business, to help you, to use the term going around, to help you elevate your business, to help you accomplish your goals, to help you set goals, to keep you accountable to goals. The third tier of the community is you, as a pro community member, have the opportunity to opt into joining a mastermind group. And if you're not familiar with the mastermind group, that's a group of, maybe 3 to 6 owners that or future owners, laundromat owners who want to commit to meeting together on a regular basis, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever, meeting together on a regular basis to share what your goals are and to keep each other accountable and to diagnose problems and to be friends and all of the above. And so I'm so excited about the opportunity to introduce mastermind communities. That's going to be included in the pro membership, no extra charge or anything like that. People charge huge bucks for mastermind groups. In fact, I'm in one and I spent 5 figures on being in a mastermind group. If you join the pro community, you don't have to be in a mastermind, but that opportunity is there for anybody who wants to. So anyways, super excited about that. And then of course, all the other tools, resources, everything else still available to the pro community, and everything else that we're developing now, which I'm excited about too, to start revealing some of those things, will continue to be available to the whole pro community. Okay, that was way, way, way more than I wanted it to be. I apologize, and I will probably leave a link if you're on YouTube so that you can skip down to the meat of this thing in case you want to skip all that. But appreciate that. Come check out the pro community, laundromatresource.com/pro if you're interested in joining. And again, there'll be a link in the show notes or in the description down below on YouTube if you want to get a peek behind the curtains of what the actual pro community will look like. All right, that was a lot. Let's jump into the 7 key takeaways from 2022 that is going to help us dominate 2023. All right, let's dig into the 7 key takeaways from 2022 that's going to propel us forward in 2023. And all of these are taken from common themes that I saw throughout the year from different podcast guests and different conversations I've been having around the industry. But you'll be hearing from some of the former podcast guests, short quotes and clips from them to help just demonstrate and drive home some of these points. So let's start with number 1. The number 1, they're not really in any order, so it's not the number 1. It just happens to be number 1. Number 1 takeaway from 2022. Maybe this is actually the number 1 takeaway, and it's this. Laundromats are becoming more and more of a service-based business. And yes, that means adding actual services to the laundromat, like wash, dry, full, drop off laundry, pickup and delivery services. But even in the self-serve laundromats, service is becoming more and more important, that we think through how we're going to serve our customers best going forward. Take a quick listen to this clip from episode 100. And by the way, all of the links to these podcast episodes will be in the show notes at laundromatresource.com/show 107. Or if you're on YouTube, they'll be down below. So in case you want to go listen to the full episodes of any of these podcast episodes, you can. But this clip from episode 100 with Luke and Lee Williford, the Wilford Brothers, talking about what service with excellence means in the laundromat business. What does serve with excellence mean for you guys? What does that look like practically, tangibly?
Lee says these 3 words in every meeting, every Monday, and multiple times a day. You know, our mission is an excellent customer experience for everybody who walks through our doors. That's the reason that the technician has to be prompt on the tickets that are put out for malfunctions. That's the reason that we make sure the HVAC system is clean and maintained. Everything that we do is to create an excellent customer experience for what we call Angela, our primary customer. She's a single mother of both with more steering in her. We have a cutout of her, and she's right over here. We do, but we base all of our decisions from where are we going to put the parking spaces to, everything to make it as convenient as possible for her to come in, get her laundry done, get on the Wi-Fi, watch Atmosphere TV. There you go, Mike Kelly. That's your plug. And
link down in the description. Go get it.
But yeah, that everything that we do, you wouldn't think about it. That's why the attendant has to be there to help people. It's to create one goal: excellent customer experience. It's why the bathroom toilet has to be fixed. It's why it has to be unlocked, even though people come in and use it every now and then. It's just part of it. Excellent customer experience.
Incredible advice from the Wilford Brothers, who own like 1.4 million laundromats or something like that. Great. I mean, if you're going to take advice from anybody and you're looking to scale your laundromat business, those guys are top of the list. So awesome advice there. Let's listen into what Brian Riesland has to say about serving customers.
Just focus on the customer experience. Like, make your decisions based on what the customer experience is. That's what the root of everything had. At least I consider it. I think, you could argue, just look at everything you do and decide if that's the customer experience that you want. It doesn't often cost that much, but just if you focus on the customer experience, usually good things are going to follow.
Peter Stern had a great little piece of wisdom on how difficult it is to acquire customers and why it's so important that we serve our current customers well. Take a quick listen.
It's really hard to acquire customers in this business. And they've struggled, I believe, because they didn't control the quality, and retention has been a huge issue. So if you got to fight really hard to get a customer, don't lose them.
Yeah.
I think, and it's more exciting to get new business. Everyone loves that. Like they love the marketing side. They love it's more glamorous. It's more fun. But if you can't keep your customers, then you can't win in this business.
And finally, take a listen to what Jason Foster has to say about customer service. And I love the extremes he goes to with his customer service. So take a quick listen to this.
Be completely service oriented, like vigilantly service oriented. Go above and beyond. If someone's about to buy detergent and you've got a bunch sitting in the back, give them some for free. Think of it as a loyalty marketing program because they appreciate it. They may even give you a great review. And that makes it, even more worth it. So just be vigilant about your service. And if you have employees, make sure that they are just as vigilant as you, the owner. You want to make sure that everybody has a great experience. And if they don't, turn it into a good experience. I mean, we can call it secret sauce. To me, it's just common sense.
All right, there were so many clips that we could have gone into talking about customer service, how to serve your customers well, and what that could look like for your laundromat. So, go back and just listen to every single episode a couple of times. That'll help you. That'll help the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. But there are so many more, and it's becoming more and more important that we serve our customers well, that we think through and are thoughtfully implementing ways to serve our customers well. And those who do are really going to benefit from that. Okay, so that's number one takeaway from 2022. Number two has more to do with marketing and acquiring customers. And one of the themes that I have seen both on the podcast and also just in the industry lately is talk about marketing and how important it is to professionalize our marketing. And that doesn't necessarily mean hire that out, your marketing out to a professional agency or bring somebody on staff. It might, but it also could mean adding that skill set to your own skills so that you can market your business well. And that is a relatively new concept, I think, for our industry, but it's going to become more and more important, especially in the bigger metro areas. So take a listen to Cameron Clark and how he implemented his marketing for his laundromats and his distributorship. Cameron has that episode is killer. Go take a listen if you didn't catch that one yet. Again, link down below or in the show notes, laundromatresource.com/show107. That is a killer episode, but take a listen to what Cameron has to say about his marketing.
In general, marketing is a drastically forgotten about, unused area of our industry when it comes to the store level. Across the board, but when it comes to the store, and a first-time store owner opens their store, they may hit the ground running hard for, the first 30, 60, 90 days or whatever, having mailers and whatever the case. They may build a website. They may, do a couple of things on social media, but then just like, brushing your teeth or on a diet or whatever the case is, you have to continually stick to it. And then it's quick, like a diet is quick for people to fall off of it. And then when you do, then you come back a year or two and, hey, well, what happened? My level of growth has plateaued out. So, you mentioned before about like, scaling and adding different layers within a business. It was, I outsourced my marketing at the beginning. For the first few stores, I outsourced my marketing. Then I brought in basically in-house part-time marketing, per se store, 4 through 6. And then after that, I brought in full-time marketing all day, every day, full-time, nonstop marketing for all my stores, because every store, every area requires something different,
Awesome stuff. Daniel Logan talks about what kinds of things you need to be doing for marketing. Take a quick listen.
The digital marketing piece, like really kind of diving in there and, figuring out, those ads and kind of how all these things kind of are interrelated, whether it's your website, the ads that you're writing, maybe even like some social media stuff type of deal, but the digital marketing and really understanding that and implementing that properly.
Sharon Brinks talks about what marketing she does for her laundromat. And coincidentally, she mentions that she built her website herself. Just want to throw a quick shout out. There's a free course at laundromatresource.com/courses on how to build your own SEO optimized website. So if you don't have one, or you're ready for an upgrade and you don't want to hire that out and you want to do it yourself, go take a listen to that, laundromatresource.com/courses on how to build your laundromat website. But take a listen to what Sharon has to say about what she's doing with her laundromat marketing.
Facebook and Google ads. And I also forgot to mention, I also have my website. I developed the website myself, do a lot of SEO and stuff like that. So if somebody's searching for laundry service, hopefully we come up.
Lloyd Silver talks about why having a good quality website is important. Take a quick listen to this, because I think a lot of laundromat owners have thought traditionally, I'm just a laundromat, I don't need a website. We'll take a listen to what Lloyd has to say about having a website as a self-serve even laundromat.
But even starting from just a self-serve operation, do you need a website? And the answer is yeah, you really, really do. And here's why. Like, you may not have people that are flocking to your website to actually learn about what a laundromat is. They've been doing laundromats for years. They just want to find one that's highly rated and that's close by. At the end of the day, that's all they want. But there are so many things now that look to your website in order to learn from it, that if you don't have one, you're putting yourself in a really bad position.
And Jono Santa Maria, also an agency, a marketing agency owner, shares about what's important in marketing as the basics for your laundromat business. Take a quick listen to this one.
It's definitely just make sure you're doing all the digital marketing basics. And digital marketing basics are essentially having a website that is, performing well, that loads quickly, that is really clear, and talks about the service you provide, and gives all the customer information that no customer would want, and also making sure that your business, or Google My Business profile, Google Business profile, whatever they're calling it these days, is complete and up to date, so that people can find you.
Some stuff. Okay, so going forward in 2023, be intentional about your marketing. So whether that's your organic marketing through your website, your Google Business profile, some of the other things that were mentioned in these clips, or if it's through paid advertising methods, whatever the case may be, let's be intentional about how we get our business, our brands, our message out there and draw in new customers. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, takeaway from 2022 is all about the data. We've got to start utilizing data to help us make better business decisions. And I say this not only because that's the way the world is going, but I say this because that is the way the whole industry is going. Whether you jump on board or not, data is being gathered and collected, whether that's through manufacturers, whether that's through owners with their software systems. Data is being collected, decisions are being made. You will get left behind, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but you will get left behind if you don't start paying attention to the data that is coming into your business. Now, how do you do that? Well, Daniel Logan has a great little snippet here that he shares how he does that in his laundromat.
Thinking about like the data, just like breaking things down to like the most simple component, you know what I mean? Like on a self-service side, like all of these other figures and numbers and, turns. Oh, I guess turns is a good one. But, I like broke it out even further. Like, what's the most simple thing that I can do? I can sit in here and count people. Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, that data side is like huge.
I love that, breaking it down to its simplest form, because it makes it easy for people like me to understand it, right? I'm in Laundromats not because I'm a genius. I'm in Laundromats because I'm simple. So I love that. Great advice from Daniel. Let's talk a little bit. So Brian Reisland and I had a great conversation about data. And this clip, he's talking about kind of shifting our perspective on data and how we are utilizing it. So we have traditionally talked about turns per day. He gives a different perspective and a different way to look at the data that's now becoming available to us thanks to some of the new technology coming in. Take a listen.
My frustration coming from tech is that a lot of the tech in this industry is like 10 years behind, right?
Welcome.
And it's still useful, but so I end up hand coding a fair amount of data from LaundroWorks reports into my massive Excel spreadsheet. That just gives me to be able to religiously track what my best hours and stuff like that are. But because the industry was built on turns, right? Looking at data by customer is super duper hard. And I just think it's because nobody is asking for things like that. So for me, there's that other company I'm doing consulting for right now. We run our business off of Shopify, and there is a whole cottage industry of plugins and stuff for Shopify. And one that we use is a data connector. It just literally connects right into all that data. Don't care about the reports or whatnot. And then I can suck it out into a Power BI. And I think that right now I have to do brute force to look at I can have to go customer by customer to figure out how frequently they are coming in. So I sample that stuff.
That was great advice from Brian Reisland. Man, I love the way that he thinks. I think he's got more to say about this. So we got to, get him back on or something, because he's coming with a unique perspective that is not common in our industry. So with that said, he mentions this one more little thing that I wanted to share with you, because I think it's very, very intriguing and very important going forward. And you'll see how we're just starting to try to do this together here at Laundromat Resource. So take a quick listen to this clip by Brian Reisland also.
How can we get data out of whatever systems we have as individual operators to help make our businesses better? But then there's are there ways that we can pool the data for each other's benefit to do comps and things like that?
All right. I mentioned probably too long-windedly in the beginning, in the intro to this episode, that we're all better when we're working together. And Brian's talking about utilizing macro data, not just micro data from our individual laundromats, but together industry-wide data to help us make better decisions. You better believe the manufacturers are doing that with the data they're collecting from our machines. Some of them even are using that data to put laundromats in our neighborhoods. So we need to be very wise, number one, about what we do with the data, who we give it to, and how we use it. But one of the things that I am excited about is, on a smaller scale, at least for right now, we're going to be compiling some data with each other anonymously, and some maybe not anonymously, I don't know. But on the Laundromat Resource Pro membership over there to help us make better decisions through polls and surveys and things like that. So super excited about that. I think it's super important that we figure out ways as individual owners and operators to share data with each other to help us make bigger decisions better. All right. What are we on? Number 4. Takeaway number 4 from 2022 is we need to be reinvesting in our businesses. Now, we look around, we have this reputation in the laundromat industry of having all these zombie mats. They're dirty, they're dark, they're dingy, half the machines don't work. We have that reputation starting to shift, I think, but it's not quite there yet. But the way that those laundromats got to be in those conditions is because the owners did not reinvest in their business. Now, it's not always easy to do, and it's not always easy to know how to do it. But it's going to be more and more important that we are making sure that we are reinvesting in our businesses. Jason Foster describes some of the ways that he sees the industry evolving. Check out this little clip.
We're going through a transition now where these older, just relying on, doing nothing in an unattended laundromat, I think they're beginning to turn over to newer owners that are looking to invest a little more and to upgrade the facilities, whether that's through technology like I have or through machines or going bigger.
Cameron Clark has an awesome little clip here where he talks about, hey, do you have a business or do you have an expensive hobby? Take a quick listen to this from Cameron Clark.
My recommendation is in any business, but in this business, especially for the level of investment that you're putting in, a quarter, half, $1 million into this investment. That's a lot of money to do a hobby. I'm in my free time, I own a farm and my wife takes on me all the time. That's a very expensive hobby and there's not a lot of return with it. So I can compare that to laundromats that, you put that kind of money into equipment and build out. I recommend, this is a business. You need to put time and energy into it.
Following naturally after reinvesting in our business, takeaway number 5 from 2022 that's going to propel us forward in 2023 is looking for leverage via technology and automation. Now, we know, well, maybe you don't know, I don't know, but in the last couple of years, technology has really accelerated in our industry. So now we have more technology available to us than we've had in our industry. And so whether that's through, software systems, touchscreen, washers and dryers, that technology is obvious. But I thought this little snippet that Jason Foster shared about how he's using technology and automation in his business was pretty cool little insight into how we could afford to get a little more creative in how we utilize technology in our businesses. Take a listen to Jason Foster in this clip.
Oh, besides the security cameras, which of course are two-way and I can speak, which eliminates, it's just so great to be able to communicate people, even if it's to say, hey, please call this cell phone number. And then they call it and you can have a regular conversation. My doors and my fans and my lights are all on smart plugs. And the crazy thing is a smart plug, you can get a smart plug for $10 on Amazon. And the smart plugs run off of Wi-Fi, which of course my laundromat is free Wi-Fi for my customers.
Obviously, there's plenty more to be discussed when it comes to technology and automation in our industry. But I have a good feeling that we're going to be hitting this topic a lot in 2023. So something to look forward to there. All that to say, hey, keep looking for new ways to utilize technology and automation in your business, to use it as leverage to help you serve your customers better and to profit more. Takeaway number 6 is we as laundromat owners need to be investing in ourselves. Yes, we've already talked about investing in our businesses and investing in our customers through serving them better in our communities. However, we need to be investing in ourselves. We are only going to be able to build a business as good as we are. Because we're the owners, we're the managers, we're the ones running it and making the decisions for it. So we need to keep leveling ourselves up. And that's why in the recommended resources section of the podcast, I always say, hey, what's a resource you could recommend to help us build our businesses or ourselves? Because it's so important to be investing in yourself. And that is something that I never, ever hear talked about in our industry. So be reinvesting in yourself, in your own learning and knowledge and growth, in your own skill set. So whether that's taking online courses on how to build a website or how to do some marketing, or if you're trying to get into this business, taking a course on how to buy or analyze a laundromat, there's a lot of different ways that you can invest in yourself, both from directly within this industry and just in general to become a more skilled, more complete, more rounded person. So that's one of the big takeaways. Take a listen to Jason Dries, who's a performance coach who came on the podcast and talked about how to overcome fear and invest in yourself in order to take whatever the next step is for you, whether that's taking the step to make your first offer on a laundromat, or maybe it's scaling, taking the step to scale up, or whatever the case may be for you. Here's what Jason has to say about overcoming that fear.
A lot of times I'll talk to people who are concerned about getting in the game. They know they're possible for more. They know they can make more money. They want to make more money. But historically they made money from a job. They'd never run a business before. And you're like, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to go? Am I going to get in the game or not in the game? And the one thing I can say to everybody there is like, if you coming from a family that wasn't entrepreneurs, like my family wasn't an entrepreneur. I'm the first entrepreneur in my family, was like, nothing is going to happen until you get in the game. So if you want to play basketball and you're on the court, on the sideline, and you're watching the game, and you can watch someone just get elbowed in the face under the basket, bam, get their nose broken. So you can sit there on the side of the court worrying about getting your nose broken playing basketball, or you can decide to get in the game. The thing that I did a long time ago was I decided that I'm not going to stop until I create success. I'm not going to stop. So I made the decision to get in the game. So, but until you make that decision, nothing happens.
Awesome stuff from Jason Dries. Now take a listen to Brian Lubin, who literally wrote the book on how to leave your W-2 job. And I think that there's not too many ways that you can leave your W-2 job as quickly as you potentially could through laundromat ownership, which is really interesting. But Brian Lubin talks about, hey, sometimes we fear failure or getting punched in the face, as he puts it in this little clip. And he talks about what's the difference between somebody who gets punched in the face, not literally, or maybe literally, a little bit of Rocky there, I don't know, but figuratively gets punched in the face and quits or stays down. And what's the difference between them and the person who gets punched in the face and gets back up? And he talks about this here. And this is, for me, this was transformative point for me when I first realized what he's going to say here. And it just, for me, it illustrates the power of investing in yourself and in your mindset and becoming the person who can live the life that you want to live. Take a listen to Brian Lubin on getting punched in the face.
And for people listening, the key action that you can take to be part of that demographic, which is Jordan and I are in the minority here. Like most people get punched in the face, and what do? They back out of the fight. They say, ow, that didn't feel good, I'm out. But all of us here are investors. Like, you're here listening to this podcast because you want to invest in something that's going to provide you passive income, or to the degree that Jordan and I were talking about, so that you can earn your freaking freedom. So the difference between the people that get punched in the face and keep going and the people that get punched in the face and back off is having a powerful why. Like, what is the reason that you're doing all of this?
All right. So I was listening to watching an Alex Hormozi video, and he said in one of his videos that I think a lot of people were like kind of shocked by, and I can really see the value in this. He said, hey, if I had it to do over and I was in my 20s and I made, whatever, $60,000 a year at my job or whatever he made, he's like, I would live as cheaply as possible and utilize every cent of extra money that I could muster to invest in myself, to start stacking skills and skill sets to become, again, the kind of person who could live the life that he wanted to live. So I love that. And a huge shout out to Jason Dries and Brian Lubin for just bringing that to our industry. I love that. And I think that that's going to be crucial going forward because of the seventh and final main takeaway that I took away from 2022, which is the laundromat business is more scalable now than it's ever been before. It's sort of this convergence of piqued interest of investors and the technology and automation to be able to scale out more than has ever been really possible before. And I think there's some implications to that, but let's take a listen to Cameron Clark one more time about that increasing interest in our industry right now.
There's more, what I would call, there's more white collar investors coming and looking to build a business, as you said, and own multiple stores and make the investment. I mean, because there's still plenty that, like you said, they will come and they will want to build it, as an asset heavy investment.
More and more investors, savvy business owners are coming into our industry. And to kind of tie that together with investing in ourselves, we have this clip from Ross Dodds, who talked about sort of his evolution of being an owner and how he has had to basically remove himself as the bottleneck from a lot of his business in order to be able to grow and scale. So this is kind of a combination of investing in yourself and also laundromats being more scalable than ever. Take a listen to what Ross has to say, because this is crucial. In fact, I did a poll, a few months ago, and polled like 250 or so people in the industry, or who wanted to get in the industry, and over 65% of them said that their goal is to have 10 or more laundromats. Right? Well, number one, you need to be the kind of person who can own and manage 10 or more laundromats, so investing in yourself. And number two, the skill sets that help you manage 1 and 2 laundromats are different than the skill sets that are going to help you manage 10 plus. So here's Ross talking about that. Ross Dodds, genius in operations and just in laundromat ownership. Love everything he's doing. Check this out.
When I started as an employee. And I realized pretty early on, and had somebody on the CLA board with me at the time, actually, when we still had CLA boards for different regions. And he said, you've got to stop being an employee and get out of your business and be the owner. And that was kind of my first wake-up call and first big move away from actually working hours in any of the laundries without somebody else there, being the only employee there. Instead, I started being at the laundries as the owner, and it changed the business drastically then.
Such good stuff from Ross there. And finally, to just wrap this out, I asked Luke and Lee Williford, the Wilford brothers, if owning tons and tons and tons of laundromats, they own more than 30, if that is even worth it. And here's what Luke and Lee had to say about that.
It's absolutely worth it. Yes, without a doubt. What a blessing to be able to serve as many people as we do serve with the 33 laundromats that we currently own. And we have a fantastic team who we treat like family because they are family. Our families are blessed by it. We're, creating a legacy for them, and start with one and just go from there. Serve those customers very well. Treat your staff like gold. And if there's an opportunity for number 2, for number 22, for number 52, take it.
All right, that wraps up the 7 takeaways from 2022 that will propel us in 2023. Look forward to a full lineup this year of podcast guests. I'm super excited about this year and talking to more of you guys about your experience in the laundromat industry, the lessons you've learned, and I look forward to doing more together. So just as a quick recap of the 7 takeaways, number 1, increase your service to your community through your laundromat. Number 2, Professionalize your marketing, either through a professional agency or hiring a professional, or through upping your skills. Number 3, utilize data more and more effectively, more efficiently in 2023. Number 4, reinvest in your business. Number 5, look for tech and automation leverage for your business. Number 6, reinvest in yourself. You know what? You are worth it. So reinvest in yourself. And finally, number 7, look out, because the laundromat industry is more scalable than ever before. So be looking for ways to scale up your business in 2023 if that's something that you want to do. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this, got something out of it. I'll see some of you in the pro community, which I'm very excited about. Again, laundromatresource.com/pro. If you're interested in checking that out. Otherwise, we will see you next week on the Laundromat Resource Podcast. Peace.